All right, so we're doing 5 Pilates exercises, 100s in tabletop, single leg stretch, crisscross with single leg stretch, clam 1, and swan prep. For me, because I have issues with my posture, mainly my ribs flare and my lower abs aren't necessarily strong enough to support my legs being fully extended, I'm going to do a modification for the single leg stretch. I'm not going to do the full stretch. Single leg cross with leg stretch, same thing. I'm not going to do the full leg stretch. And that's it really. So with that said, we're going to go through it 1 through 5 back to back, 10 reps of each. So I'm getting into position here and I'm making sure that my rib cage is down and my lower abs are engaged before I bring my legs up. I'm connected. I lift my head using my arms, and then I'm going to straighten my arms by my side once I'm in position, and I'm going to start my 100s. So moving from the armpit area, I'm exhaling 5 times and then inhaling 5 times. The next exercise I move into is the single leg stretch. I'm starting it out with a modification where I'm supporting my head with my arms. Here I move into the full version because I felt strong enough to do it, and actually in a way it's almost easier to do the full version because you're kind of reaching towards your legs. Still staying connected, still engaging the lower abs, still keeping the ribcage closed. Checking my notes for the next exercise. The next exercise here is crisscross. Outside of Pilates, they're usually called bicycles, and here I'm doing a modified version where I'm not extending opposite arm and leg at the same time. I'm just moving my upper body and keeping my legs at 90 degrees. One note for Pilates is that you don't try to bring your elbow to your knee. If you were doing the full version, you want to think about bringing your armpit to your opposite hip. So that really focuses on the core a lot more and kind of gets your neck and hip flexors out of it. And then moving right into clam 1, I am side lying with my shoulder and hip lined up. I push my top hip down away from me to create that space between the floor and my abs. Push my rib cage back so that it's also level and not sticking out. And then I lift up my heels and I start my clam 1. So I'm extending my knee up into external rotation actually, and I'm squeezing my glutes, kind of like the outside of my glute, that glute med, keeping my knees together, and you can see my feet go into external rotation. If you're a dancer, it's going into like first position. And then immediately flipping over, doing the other side, same exact thing, lining up, shoulder with hip, knees at 90 degrees, hips pushed away, create that space. Bring the rib cage in and moving right into clam 1. I'm kind of keeping it going quickly to keep the cardio up as well. Again, externally rotating from the hip. Feet are attached at the heels and you move into first position. Still maintaining that space between the floor and my core. And moving on to swan prep. So for swan prep, as you can see, I just corrected my anterior pelvic tilt by engaging my core. Shoulders are down, head is off the floor, glutes are not engaged, legs are not engaged. And here I am moving into extension, upper back extension, really trying to not get my lower back to engage at all. And again, I do this by keeping the core contracted and by correcting my anterior pelvic tilt by making sure that my hip bones are pushed into the floor the whole time. I'm not doing a great job of these. I'm lifting my head up a little bit too much. I'm using more neck than I should be, but we're still getting that upper back extension and keeping the low back out of it and keeping those arms elevated the whole time as well. Shoulders look good. They're staying down. They're staying pulled back. They're not rounding forward. And relax.